minutes.
Cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency. currency, changing how the world does business.
All right. Hey guys, how you doing? 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 Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's time to start creating our wealth, and we're going to talk about basically what the use of credit cards and all these other things that we can do, basically to move our cash flow. All right, so that's what we're going to dive into today. All right, so I'm going to I want to talk a little bit about this first. Let me talk a little bit about this. Let me see here. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. It's called the 5 pillars to wealth. The 5 pillars to wealth. Main thing in the 5 pillars to wealth. Let's start with you. Got to start with you. You are the pillar that you got to start with. And what is that pillar? That is desire. You must have a strong desire to become wealthy. You must have a strong desire to become wealthy. How do you start getting wealth? How do you start creating it? Well, it comes from basically having the openness to opportunities. Because if you're not open to opportunity, you're not going to change. So that's the way it begins. You got to start with an openness to opportunities. Strong desire, not just have a desire. Because a lot of people say they have desire, they do not pursue it. You got it? They don't pursue it. Okay? So you got to have a strong desire to become wealthy. And everybody does not possess that strong desire, the strong desire to become wealthy. It's true. It's a reality. It does not exist in everybody. Don't think that I'm just saying something to be saying it. No, people don't care. People just like to be lazy. People love to. I don't want to change. I don't want to change. I don't care what you got to offer. I can give away $1,000 and people still don't want it, right? Oh, I'm here. I'm helping. Nope, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. You don't want it. I don't want it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so when you think about stuff like that, and you think people want they have the strong desire to start going, you can tell the people that just start moving. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. People don't want to use excuses. For example, when things come up, they just go after it. They don't wait. They don't look for nobody got to confirm anything. Okay, this is what it is. This is what it takes to get moving. Let me get moving. Let me start doing this. Okay, I'm going to start doing it this way. I'm going to dive in and do it this way. Most people are waiting for somebody to give them some more information. I need some more information. I need some more information. They use excuses. They use excuses, right? I'm going to show you a chart here that I'm going through a little bit of my stuff back in the day. And we all looked at this back in the day. And I remember when I first started talking about crypto, right? Let me share my screen. And so when I started showing this chart back in the day, some of you guys remember this. Let me show you real quick what this is. So some of you guys remember this chart, comparing one Bitcoin to versus dollars. I remember when I first got in crypto and Bitcoin back in the day, I got started in 2000 and basically 16. But 2012, Bitcoin came out in 2009. You couldn't even fill up a cart. You couldn't even put one piece of candy in the cart with a Bitcoin. It was less than a penny, right? Then in 2012, it started gaining some attraction. Then 2013, it went up. You can see right here, it went up 2013. 2014, it went crazy. Now, how many Bitcoin it take to almost get a Lamborghini? They thought you'd be able to buy a Lamborghini by 2020. It got to about, a close to 20,000, right? Then we got to this last year. It got to I think 40,000. And then this year the high print was $65,000. Well, that's still not enough to buy a Lamborghini. You got to have 140, 150 grand to get a Lamborghini. But think the transition that happened. And so talking about, jumping into something, having an open mind. I had an open mind with Bitcoin in 2016. I was joined some other companies. I looked at what was going on, and I come to find out they was stealing our Bitcoin. It wasn't worth as much money as it is today. but still, I lost about 16 Bitcoin, altogether, probably about 26 Bitcoin. Probably altogether 26 Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin, 26 of them. And I still got, I got more than 20 right now. But the point is, look what happened. Look what happened. And so opportunity, can you see opportunity? I'm asking the question. Can you see opportunity? Because a lot of people, a lot of folks don't recognize opportunity. They don't see it, right? And so when you think about what's going on and how we can start moving things around and starting how to build wealth, we got to think about credit. So right now, you need money to buy crypto. You got to have some crypto. You got to have some money, right? Don't you need money to buy crypto? It don't come to you for free, or does it? Does Bitcoin come to you for free? Yeah, it does. If you know where to do it. If you open to the opportunity, you can do it. Okay. So within our club, we allow you to get Bitcoin for free. For free. Yes. Everybody starts at 0.0167. And as things coming in, just get with somebody on this call. They'll get you going in the right direction. But let's talk about credit tonight. So, a lot of people want to get credit going, right? They want to think about credit and how to get credit going. And so we got these bureaus out there. I'm going to teach you one thing tonight that we all have to do when you're fighting your credit or you want to get your credit moving in the right direction. Okay. I'm just going to bring you up the site. I'm going to go there real quick and then let you guys see this. So you know what to do to help with your credit. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. And we're going to dive in to this credit. So let me share my screen here. Okay. Here we go. All right, so now you got my screen coming up. There's my screen. All right. Now, here's the beautiful thing of it. When we think about credit, the credit bureaus are actually going to get some information about you, right? So they got some companies that report to them directly. Some of the vendors, right? They report to the credit bureaus directly. But most of the time, the credit bureaus are getting what they call third-party information about you. And it comes from SageStream and LexisNexis. Now these two companies combine themselves together. So it's two things you got to do. Okay. One thing is we got to stop the credit bureaus from getting your information. So when you're challenging stuff, right? As we know, we got our own credit repair company and we're teaching people how to do their credit in our back office as well. So what you have to do is stop the credit bureaus from obtaining the information. So when you go to challenge them, they can't get no verification. Because remember, it always comes back saying when you do something in credit, most of the time it comes back and says verified. Says verified. And then you say, well, how did you verify the information? This is how they do it. They go directly to this information right here, right? This is where they go. They go directly to this information right here. They get this information right here. There's a couple other ones as well. So two things we want to do. Number one, we want to freeze our information to the credit bureaus. We're going to do a security freeze. And the second thing we're going to do, we're going to opt out of any new information that they pass out to them other companies until we get our credit squared away. And then we go back and opt in. So the first thing we want to do is do a security freeze. So listen, you go to sagestream.com or lexisnexis.com. They're going to bring you back to the same site. So let's just say I click here, security freeze. So when I click on security freeze, what happens next is I got to go here, submit a request online. Now you have to do this as an individual. The companies can't do this for you because they're going to have some information, and you have to send up some documentation. So you get down here, this red button and this red button bring it to the same place. Okay. All right. Now what you want to do is click on this and you want to fill out the information. So I'm clicking on the red button. Okay. And this what comes up. You're requesting a security freeze for yourself. You need to do this to yourself, guys, right? You come in here, put your first name in, your last name in. Notice that the middle name, there's no asterisk there, right? There's no asterisk. So you don't need it in the middle name. Then you need your date of birth, social security number, okay? Your phone number, email, your address, your current address where you live, okay? Your current address where you live. And hopefully you got some documentation on your new address where you live, all right? You want to do this, guys. You want to do this, okay? The next thing you want to do, you're going to put your city, state, the state of residence right there. Zip, your driver's license number, and then what state is a driver license from. Okay, so they need the number in that. Then you got to do these documents. You have to send up these documents. Okay, so I'm providing a legible copy of my current driver's license or other government issue ID that's showing my current address and date of birth. Okay, so your driver's license, and they're going to want the front and back of the driver's license. My driver's license or government ID isn't current. So you can say, hey, my driver's license is not current. I'm submitting a copy of the document from my category 2 down here, and a copy of my driver's license or the government ID. Even though you may have an old license, they'll take it. And then down here, you're going to give them your actual note, whatever this is going to be, right? Bank card statements, a voided personal check with your pre-printed address on it, right? Notarized letter, any of these documents you can use, W-2 tax forms, right? Landlord can do it for you, but you want to put that information in there. And this one says, I do not have a driver's license or a government issue ID. I'm submitting a copy of one of those documents in category 1. So you're going to go to category 1 and you're going to give them one of these. For example, I don't have a license or government ID, but I got a social security card, or I got a US passport with a picture on it, right? I got an alien registration card on it. I got a military ID card, front and back. Okay, right? So read the information, guys. Don't just say, I'm going to do category 1 and category 2. They're not asking you that. They say if you provide the document, which is, in other words, a license, then that's all you need to send that information in and your date of birth. That's it. If you don't have a license, then you're going to pick something from category 2. If you don't have a driver's license, right? I mean, you got an old driver's license, I'm saying, then you go to category 2. If you don't have a driver's license, then you go to category 1 and put that information in. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Category 2, you can need category 1 and category 2. So if you don't have a driver's license or government ID, then you're submitting a one from category 1 and one from category 2. That's what they're telling you. So read the information, guys, when you do this. Okay. And then if you have any attachments, right, which is going to be your license, those tax forms, or address, notarized copy, whatever the case may be, you're going to use this attachment. You're going to click on the plus sign and you're going to send it up. And then when you send it off, then you're going to ask for security freeze information. You're going to give you a PIN number. You're going to get a PIN, and then you're going to click on I'm not a robot. Click on that and then send it off. Submit it to send it off. Once you do that, within 3 to 4 days, it's going to show up and it's going to stop them from using this information to verify those collections that you got going on. It's going to stop them from going to that. So what happens if they can't verify the information? What happens to your item that you're fighting? What's going to happen? It's going to say deleted, or it's going to, whatever you're asking them to do, right? So for example, they say, hey, I paid this bill. I really don't want to, I have not made a late payment, right? I have not made a late payment. And so they can't verify it. They're not really calling the company. Most companies that they call about a late payment, and they got thousands and thousands and thousands of customers, right? Auto loans, mortgage companies, they're not really getting back to them. And what happens? They didn't get back in 30 days. Guess what happens? It falls off. The item falls off the record. It falls off. Okay. So that's the beauty of what's going on. Now, sometimes they come back and say, well, it's verified. Now you go back into another layer you got to do and says, what is the method of verification? So now you're going to challenge, how did you verify this information? Especially when it comes to bankruptcy. Completely different item when it comes to a bankruptcy. The courts do not do not give any information to any kind of credit bureaus. So how in the hell is bankruptcies on your credit profile? How is that showing up, right? How does a bankruptcy show up on your credit report? Because they got that from a third party information. And so what happens when you learn about all this, then you take it, you fight it. Once you fight it, then they come back, say it's been verified. Then what happens? You send a letter off to the courts, right? And we're waiting for the first letter to come back. You send a letter off to the courts, and then it says they will say we do not supply any information to any third party, to include credit bureaus. So now you save that letter. That letter now becomes what they call a category in your documents, and you send that off and says, hey, this information is incorrect. They do not supply you any information. You are breaking the rules of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? FCRA. And then all of a sudden you see it come off your credit report. I don't care if you got a bankruptcy 2 weeks ago, right? It's not supposed to be listed in your credit report. It's not supposed to be there, right? They get that information from third parties, and they all in cahoots, guys. So let's explain what the credit bureaus are doing. The credit bureaus are not on the consumer side. They don't work for you. The credit bureaus do not work for you. They work for the institutions out there that's looking to hold you down because they want to get paid more money. And the risk tolerance, they want to know how much risk can I give this individual, right? When I say risk, how much money am I going to allow them to borrow my stuff that I own, whether it's going to be furniture, cars, loans, right? So the credit bureaus is on their side, and the institutions are looking, says, okay, how much risk can I give this individual? And so it's a two-way street. They want to know, okay, if you got good credit, if you've been paying your bills on time, if everything looks good, then here, I can give you whatever you need, right? I'm willing to loan you or give you this on credit. You know, maybe it could be 100,000, 300,000, 500,000, $1 million. It's all based on how well you pay your bills, right? The president of the United States, the former president of the United States, right? We're talking about Trump. He filed bankruptcy before, right? From his business, came right back in, and just cool thing about having a business, it doesn't affect your personal credit. That's the cool thing about a business, right? So you could be building business credit, huge amounts of business credit, and you can default on business credit. It'll never show up on your personal credit unless you have a personal guarantee. And that's what we got to make sure you start to evolve from personal credit to business credit without a personal guarantee, a grantor. And therefore, when you start doing real good business, then guess what? It's not in your name. If the business fail, all business fails, right? Now and then we need money. Things happen, right? We all get challenges about money, right? It always happens. And so what happens when you get through those stages, you can always get out of it and just start afresh, start brand new. That's the beautiful thing about bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a tool that the rich use. Don't think because, a lot of us and, people of color, I don't want to get a bankruptcy. I don't want to do it. I've been through a bankruptcy. I've been through it. Yep. Got all my debts. I had a chapter 13, and that was, many years ago, but it's paying a percentage of what I owe. I prefer to get a chapter 7, but I made too much money. A chapter 7 is when you pay none of your debts. It's wiped clean. That plate, it's like you take your plate that's full of food, right? But just think about all that credit you had on there, all that credit, all that stuff you got, you never paid on or didn't pay a little bit. And all of a sudden you just dump it, take that whole plate, put it in a sink, and then bring the plate back out, and it's wiped clean. That's what a chapter 7 does. It lets you restart afresh. Okay. And those are the rules of the government. Uncle Sam is on your side when you do a chapter 7, chapter 13. Okay. That's what it does. It helps you clean up your debt, start afresh. Now, what other thing happened with credit is that it resets. All credit resets. Okay. So everything bad on your credit report, everything bad on your credit report, if you don't want to fight it, it will reset after 7 years. 7 years. Okay. Again, bankruptcies can stay on your report for 10 years, but I just told you that a bankruptcy is not legally supposed to be on there. Right? So that's got to come off anyway. Okay. So basically, anything that's on your credit report will come off fresh 7 years. It's called a reset. The government resets. All debts are waived. And literally, that came from the Bible, right? The United States was built on a Christian faith. It was built on that Christian faith. And everything was reset based off the Bible. Then when they started creating this system, they took that information from the Bible for 7 years. Okay, 7 years of reset. Everything, all debts are wiped clean to let you start afresh. So when you're looking at your credit report, so first thing I would say to you, well, Wall Street, I don't know what my credit is. I would say first, you need to understand what your credit report is. And the way you can do your credit reports, if you don't want to pay for it. Now, if you're in challenges and you're doing this, then you need to pay for monitoring. Okay. But let me tell you how to do it for free. If you just want to monitor your credit yourself and watch what's going on yourself. So Credit Karma, they got two types of credit out there, right? They got one called Vantage Score and one called Fico Score. Fico, Fico, Fair, I forgot the ICO, Fair Isaac, right? Company. That's what it means. FICO, Fair Isaac Company. It's been around for well over 50 years, well over 50 years. Almost all the institutions around the United States are using FICO as the credit per se, the risk tolerance for each individual, right? That's what they're using. It's not just in the United States, though. So they got TransUnion, which is all over the world. They have Experian, which is all over the world. And they have Equifax, which is all over the world. And these companies are huge, right? They've been, years. They've been around. They all over the world. People use credit all over the world, guys. Okay? It's not just here in the United States. So what happens when you have a FICO score, which is what most people are using, you got different types of FICO scores. You got FICO 2, FICO 3, FICO 5, FICO 8, FICO 9. They have all these different FICOs. Right now, most companies are using FICO 8, FICO 8, FICO 8 scores. They also starting now to use FICO 9 scores, FICO 9. It's got a little bit of difference in them, but it just they're there, right? There's 5 categories in credit. Okay. Now the Vantage Score is more of a retail score. It's like for us, for the people to use the retail score so you can monitor your credit, and they give it to you for free. Some places charge you, monthly fees for that, and you're gonna get all 3 of your scores. Credit Karma give you 2 scores. They give you the Experian and they give you Equifax, right? TransUnion, they do you TransUnion and Equifax, right? And then when it comes to other companies that charge you to get all 3 of your scores, right? Some would be like My FICO would charge you for all 3 scores. My Score IQ, which is Identity IQ, newest branch they use, which is all FICO scores. And then if you use Credit Karma, that's Vantage. If you use a lot of these other companies, these are all Vantage scores. Most of them are doing Vantage scores, not FICO scores. There is a difference, okay? The scores usually going to be a 20-point difference, maybe better or less than your credit score. So I like to look at the FICO score, which is the best thing for you to do. Now, how can you get a free FICO scores? Let me give you a hack. Here's a hack you can do. You can go to Experian.com. Experian, and you can join for free, and then you can get 3 scores from all 3 bureaus by you putting your credit card information in, and put it in, and you get all 3 scores. In 7 days, they're going to charge you a full fee, but you cancel it the very first day. You get there, you just put it in so you won't forget. You go and put the information in, put your credit score in, and then you go ahead and get all 3 of your scores, and then cancel the membership. Cancel it. Cancel the membership. You got all 3 of your scores. They're going to give you access to those 3 scores for 30 days. Okay. And then it's going to fall off again. And then another month or so, go back. And if you're tracking your credit, you can always go back a month or 2 months later and do it again. And then you'll see your scores, all 3 of your scores again. So you can monitor all 3 FICO scores from Experian. You can do that. Okay. That's a pretty cool deal, right? If you want to check and, keep checking your credit on the FICO score. Now, a lot of these things happen when you have collections on your report. They only show 2 years of your report, right? Only 2 years, or maybe 3 years. When it comes to credit cards, for example, they said, okay, even like I got one of my credit cards is up for 23 years. Right, been having the same credit card for 23 years. Some people got credit cards they have for since the 1980s, right? Beautiful, right? Just rolling, beautiful. That's for 30 years right now, right? And so when you have credit, when you have good credit, less than 1%, and Naja, we was talking a little bit earlier, this just came to my mind right now. You have 1%. Let's say you got a lot of credit cards and all your credit cards are paid off, or only using 1% or 3% or 5% of your credit cards. What we can do is help you set up what they call authorized users, and you can add people to your credit and get paid for it while they use your credit score, not your credit card. They're not getting your card. They don't get your card, but they have access to your credits, your performance of that credit card. I'll put it that way, not your credit score, but the performance of your credit card. So let me give you an example. Some credit cards, people got $10,000 on them, $15,000, $25,000. Some cards only got $2,000 on them, but they got age on them, right? They may have, 5 years, 8 years, 12 years on them. So that utilization is going to benefit the person as an authorized user if they're trying to rebuild their scores. This is done a lot in the United States. It's big money when it comes to this, on how you can help boost up their credit. There's many we use for family members, right? Family members coming in, like my daughter, she didn't have much credit, right? Or your kids don't have much credit. You can put them on your credit profile, right? They authorize user on this card, and this card. And all of a sudden their scores jump like 50, 60, 100, 200 points. And they have age on their credit, like history on their credit. That's beautiful, guys. So when you think about what I'm saying to you, that you can make an additional $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month on these different cards that you own, that you can let people be authorized user on, right? Remember, you don't send them the card. You do not send them the card. Card stays with you, and they stay on that report for about 90 days. If they want to do it again, they pay you again for the next 90 days. That's how that works, okay? So what happens, this cash flow that's being generated, is another stream of cash flow you can create for yourself because of your hard work and discipline that you did. Remember, when you have credit and you got a lot of these cards, that's discipline on your part, right? And what you're doing is providing a service to an individual to benefit off your discipline, which you should get paid for it, right? Don't do it for free. No, you should get paid for this, right? And so that's what the benefit is when you have credit that way. Now let's talk about how do you rotate credit, the beautiful thing about rotating credit. So before I get there, let's talk about this Vantage Score. The Vantage Score, like I said before, is mainly retail. It's not what most vendors are not. When they look at your credit, they're not pulling up your Vantage Score. They don't care what the hell that thing says. I want to know what the FICO score is. and they pull in when they pull the FICO score, it's going to pull the information based on what you're looking to do. So, for example, did you know back in the day when they did a mortgage, they would take the three credit scores from FICO, and they would take the middle score, not the average score, but the middle score, right? So, for example, let's say you had one score was 710, one score was 685, the other score was 646. They would use the 685 score, right? So they take the middle score. But now the new FICO system, they have a mortgage FICO score, mortgage FICO, and even in automobiles. So right now the scores, they range from 300 to 850. But when it comes to a automobile, it goes to 900. So it goes from 300 to 900. So your score could be 890. Like my auto score is 890. Wow, I didn't know it even exists. That's because they changing the game strictly on automobile, like the for autos. They got a credit score strictly for mortgages. Okay, they got a bank score strictly for banks, so they can look at your bank score, right? It's not just now. Some banks use, a lot of them use Equifax. That's why you see those inquiries on there. And then some of them use TransUnion, and then very few use Experian. So they'll do different ones, right? Sometimes they use two scores. They'll look at this if they say Experian and Equifax. They look at both. So when you look at your credit score and look at your inquiries, when you look at your inquiries on your credit score, you see who is looking at your score based on that application. All right, let's talk about the next thing. When it comes to your profile in the credit bureaus, like you see these different names show up on your on your credit profile, right? It's like, wait a minute, that's not my name. So what happens when they fill out the information, they put the wrong name in on that application, and then they associated that application to that social security number, which now shows up on your credit report. Your job is to make sure that those names come off, especially if you got some derogatories on your credit, because derogatories on that credit is tied to the name and the address, right? And so say, well, this could be a case of false identity, right? That's not my name. I didn't do that. Get that off my record. You fight that. Get it off your record. That's why when we start working on credit, we always fight for the names first, the names and the inquiries. So get the names off, get the inquiries off, get the names off, improper names, and the inquiries and the addresses. Your ideal is to have only one active address on your credit profile. Only one. You don't need two. You don't need five. They don't need to have your last 10 places you live. You only need one. And you fight to get those off as well. You can always call the credit bureaus. You can always call them, direct line to them, and ask for the fraud department and get those inquiries off your report. It could come off in 24 to 48 hours. If you call, we can't call for you. It cannot be the companies that's out there, working on your behalf. You have to call them yourselves to get that off, right? And you want to get your inquiries below 5 and less. So what the deal is, when it comes to credit, especially if you did not get the item you tried to get, right? So for example, let's say you're doing a mortgage. You was doing a HELOC and you got denied, or things happen and you filed again from another company. You're trying to get a mortgage, and all of a sudden you see all these different inquiries on your report and you didn't get none of those. Then all that stuff you get to get all that stuff wiped off. Get all it wiped off. You didn't get it, just get it wiped off. You don't care. But don't fight an inquiry that you have a credit card from that you did receive, because they can always come back and says, well, you said you didn't do that, so we're gonna close that card out. So don't do the cards that you have in your possession. Okay, so just remember that when it comes to credit, you always have to keep the inquiries that you did receive. Okay, that you did receive. Anything that you did not receive, that should be coming off your credit report. All those inquiries. Sometimes when you go get a car loan, they'll shotgun your credit 25, 30, 40, 50 times. It's crazy what they do. And so you can fight and get all those things off. Okay. All right. That's a big, those are the major things when it comes to that. Now, let's talk about collections real quick. So a new thing is coming out with collections. It's a form they're coming out with collections, a form, 1-page form. Okay. And so what's happening now that you can ask the credit bureau, say, listen, I'm fighting this. I'm disputing this information. Right. And it comes on there and you can put on these items. You can say, hey, this information right here is not what I'm supposed to have on my credit report. It's not supposed to be there. And so what they're doing now, that information goes straight to the credit bureaus, and they take it and they look at it, and they're going to try to verify. Remember what I just told you first. They're going to try to verify this information with LexisNexis and SafeStream. But you're going to do a security freeze that stop all that. You got to do this, guys. I promise you, if you do this, you're going to speed up the process of eliminating that information from your credit report. So when it comes to collections, a lot of these collection companies, if it has a debt in the collection, if it shows you like you owe this much money on this collection, if it shows any kind of information like that on that report, that is illegal. Therefore, they are breaking the rules of the FCRA, and therefore it can come off. You can get that off, right? And sometimes they're gonna play hardball, and it all depends on how fast you want to come off. So you can do what they call pay for delete, pay for deletion. If you're trying to get something done real fast, like I got to close on this property, I got to close this HELOC, I got to get this car by next week, and I got this stuff showing up on my credit report. What can I do? And this collection is there. The first thing you do is call that company or write them a letter, or call that company and say, listen, let's have a conversation. I see what you did on my credit report. It's illegal, but I need this off my credit report. I really need this off my credit report. And I'm willing to work on it with a pay for delete, but I'm not paying full price. I might give you 10% because they're making free money. Believe me when I tell you, they're making free money. The vendor has already been paid on that. They took it off their taxes. So they're not using that anymore as a debt because their books is already clean. And then they wrote the paper off and gave it to a third party, which you did not sign any agreements with, right? You didn't sign an agreement with this other company, this third party. You didn't do that, right? But if you need it off, then you can what they call pay for deletion. But guess what? You better get in writing. You want to get it in writing. Do not take a phone call as what they're going to do. Oh, we'll go ahead and take it off once you send the payment. No, sir. No, sir. I need you to send me a statement, a letter stating that you are going to remove this, and you could send a self-addressed envelope back to you when you send them a letter, right? And so they could sign it, say they're going to remove it, and the payment goes in after you receive the letter. Then you send the payment off to them. Then they take it off your credit report. You can do that, right? And then you're looking for them to take it off your credit report, and within a fair amount of time, a week, 2 weeks, it should be done, right? It don't take that long to take it off because really it's a phone call. They just call the bureaus, put the code in, boom, it comes off the record. It's not that long to take it off your record. Okay. So credit, once you get your credit up, the ultimate goal is to have this case I talked to today. It's a case that I went through today. I'm very proud of her from where she was to where she is today. Okay. And so in her credit profile, she had literally paid off all this debt, right? Well over 10, 14, 20 credit cards, less than 1% of credit utilization. I want you to think about what I said. So let me give you an example. So I'm gonna bring up a calculator, right? Let's just say there's $100,000 of access on the credit cards. Okay, let's say 100,000. All right, 20 cards can give you easily 100,000. Right, 10 cars, really 4 cars can get over 20,000. You can get $25,000 cards if you got good credit. Okay, So times 1% equals $1,000. She's only using $1,000 of that. That means she got $99,000 available to pull cash flow off, right? Here's the other thing. The score is above 800. The score is above 800. That's number 2. Number 3, started her business. Started a business. Then created business credit. That's well over 50 to 100 grand. Then got an SBA loan. An SBA loan is one of the hardest loans to get, right? And got an SBA loan. That's the ideal condition. That is the top 1% of America. I'm proud of her. Top 1% of America. That's huge. That is huge. Guys, when you talk about that kind, you got extreme. So we teach all this stuff, right? And then what happens when you start to apply it and all of a sudden your life turns around and changes, all of a sudden, look what happened. You got two more concepts to do, 2 more things you got to do and to make this 100% whole. And that is, you got to get an infinite banking system set up, right? That's your insurance policy that you use at the bank, because now you got money to throw into. So remember, we talked about that class yesterday, right? How you can throw cash flow. You got to have some way to throw your cash flow in so it keeps building that pot of wealth every year to the day you die. Every single year, that pot of cash flow is going in it that you can use over and over and over again, right? Powerful. Then the next thing you got to do is what we call, when you're looking at your solo 401k plan. Solo 401k. So the ideal condition is to have a retirement plan, which is going to be tax-free, okay? So the solo 401k is tax-free. We teach you how to get that going in our club, right? You have an infinite banking system, a whole life insurance policy that runs for your entire life that you can cash flow, dump cash flow in, use the cash flow for any purpose you wish to keep rotating around your circle into the insurance, into your trading, right? Your solo 401k plan is like your trading account, right? Then you roll it back into your credit cards, then you roll it back into your HELOCs. Just imagine all that's going on, this big old circle that you've blown into, and the cash flow is just getting bigger and bigger. Before you know it, you got over 300,000, 500,000, $1 million. You got over $1 million. Then you get into crypto. Now you got crypto going at the same time. So the main purpose of your credit is to use credit, not just to have the scores. Just because you got an 800 score or 780 or 685, right? I got an 820, 850, right? You got the top score in America and you're not doing nothing with it, then that's a waste. Don't waste the opportunity. Your cash flow is dependent on you using the credit to speed up your existence on this planet. To get the things that you wish you want to do, your freedom, your cash flow, it can all be worked around. And yes, we teach you how to do that in our coaching program. I just launched my coaching program a couple of days ago. Okay, coaching program a couple of days ago. And guys, if you want me to help you, walk you through these steps, then that's what I'll do. But you got to pay the fee. You got to pay the piper. I'm here to help you, but I'm not going to do it for free, right? If you want the financial freedom, it's got a cost to it. And you can pay the cost to get there, right? Join the club, learn, right? Learn and do. Don't just keep learning and never start doing. Learn and do. Get that cash flow going. My credit score jumps from, right now it's like 767, something like that, 780. And then it'll drop down to 685, 620. Said, what? Yes, because I pull my damn money out and I use it what I need to do. I cash flow it out. Then I pay it all back again. Then my score jumps back up again. I'll be over 800 probably this week, right? Then I'm going to pull out another 30, 40, 50,000. Do the same thing again. I might do that 3-4 times a year, right? Talking about bringing out $90,000 to $150,000 a year from credit cards, from using my credit, and keep circulating, circulate. Your job with credit as a U.S. citizen is to use the credit to build your life, right? Now we use credit for good debt, not for bad debt. Bad debt is when I take my credit cards and I just spend with nothing being generated on the asset side. An asset is what? It's got to be money that's going to be put back in your pocket when you do it. Okay? When I use cash flow from my credit card, it's going to produce another 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, maybe 1,000% when it rolls into the credit, when it rolls into the crypto, right? It's going to roll up into that crypto. Okay? I'm rolling up into an insurance. I'm rolling up to the house, paying the house down. All this stuff is being rolled. Everything's being rolled, and it's producing more and more cash flow. If you want to learn all these ideas that I'm talking about, then you can actually join me for my what they call coaching program, because we walk you through the process. Okay, or join the club and start doing it. We teach you how to do all this stuff. Right, on every single level we teach you something to do. And so part of that is trading. So let's finish this out real quick. We're going to talk about trading now. So the cool thing is when you get your credit going, okay, let me get this out the way. When you get your credit going, right, your whole idea is now to get to the final phase. What's the final phase? To learn to get into credit and using your cash flow and building on that cash flow, partly of it, maybe less than 5%, 10% into the stock market. But you want to go into the crypto market because the crypto market is happening right now. It's not the future. The future is already here. You're just not in it. You're not doing what it takes for you to do to make cash flow. And we trade this crypto. Okay, just so you know, we trade crypto in ups and downs. We make money when Bitcoin is going up. Let me give you an example. Let's go to it real quick. Right? We make money when Bitcoin is going up. Let me give you a big chart here. Okay, that's my robot right there. But we make money going up. This is a weekly chart. Okay, so we make money going up and we make money going down. So we make money, we made cash flow, crypto, right? We get paid in crypto in a few different places. Okay, notice it says 38,000. This says 69,000. It got to 69,000. It came up back down to 38. But we benefited from it, right? Even when it was over here at 65, it came all the way back down here to 29. We rode it all the way back down. And then we rode it all the way back up, and then we rode it all the way back down again. So we made money going up, and down, right? If you want to learn how to do that, you got to join our Trade Academy. We got our own Trade Academy, teach you how to do it. Okay, this is the benefit. I would ask you to share this with other people, because this is the final stage. If you can learn to create cash flow from crypto, from your credit cards, from your insurance, from your businesses that you do, from your authorized users. I'm giving you all kind of ideas on how to make money. How do you create the cash flow without having a business? And you still set up your own company, right? We teach you how to set up an LLC, right? LLC, get it going, make an S corporation if you want to, get it all going. Guys, this is the power of knowledge. Only if it's applied. You have to apply the knowledge that we give you, right? That's why the coaching program allows you, because we're going to work with you in that hour call. We are actually accomplishing something on your profile. We getting it done. I don't know how to do it. Don't worry. When I get there and we do this call, we're going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. Let's go. Press this button right here. Click on that. Would you like that hand holding instead of somebody just talking to you over the phone? Okay, I need you to do this. Okay, why you haven't done that yet? That kind of coaching, right? That's not my coaching. My coaching is let's go, get on the Zoom, open it up, click this, click on that. Okay, let's go. Fill this information out. Let's do it right now. We're knocking it out. We're going to set up your business right now. Let's click on that. Here it is. Get your credit card out. Let's pay for that right now. Okay, good. Let's get your EIN number right now. Boom, get it done. Okay, good. Now let's go open a bank account right now. Bank account being open. Boom, right online. Boom, done. Let's put some funds in there. All right, next week when I come back, we're going to do this. And so now we're building a foundation. So it's not like I'm talking to you. That's for me is a waste. You can talk to folks all day. They won't do it. But when you hold their hand and we're doing it together, within those 12 weeks, you're done. The foundation is set. Would you want that kind of hand holding? Would you want that kind of coaching? That's what I do. Right? Yep. So that hour is filled with stuff we got to do. It's not like we just talking. No, we working. We putting it in. We getting it done. Now when you sit back and done, so oh my God, I got it done. Now the next year, all you're doing is building that foundation, and that cash flow starts to go crazy. Go crazy. Even in the trading, right? We look at it, it's okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going in here. You got to get into the trade room with me because I'm not doing trading like we going into the room. Let's get this trading done. Okay. So for all my people that's coaching with me, we may have special events that we're going to go in. Besides the trading people, we got the coaching people going in. Okay, let's go click on this. We got to click the button. Let's go. I'm going to see you click this button. Let's click it. Click. Boom. Pop. We're getting it in. I'm going in right now. I'm buying this. I should be hearing pops. Pop, 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 pop. We ordered. There we go. We in. You got it? That's how we doing it. That's a big difference. Big difference, guys. I'm telling you, if it's a whole different concept when we talk about building wealth, because everybody don't know how to do this, what I know how to do. And that's the difference. And so I'm taking my time with you. And as your coach, we're building it up. We're not selling jack. Ain't nothing you gonna have to sell jack. Our club is nothing to sell in our club. All you got to do is what? Show up. We call it show up. Can you show up to show out? Can you show up to show out? Show up. If you could bring somebody with you to show up, you're going to make a fortune because you got nothing to sell. Everything is about the individual. Everything is about that person learning, becoming financially free. Everything we do is all toward the individual to become financially free. Guys, listen, I was on this phone call for an hour now. Okay, I appreciate you guys coming in, learn a little bit. I encourage you to join one of these members to get in here and start learning. We're going to start doing these calls every Monday night is what we call the State of the Union, MLS State of the Union. And then we're going to do one on, what's today? So we did one Wednesday night and Thursday night. Today's Thursday night. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to be live online. It will never be the same information. I'm going through like a series of stuff that you can keep learning, a series of stuff. And so if you want to keep learning with this series that we're going through, right, we're going to keep moving. With that being said, guys, listen, I appreciate you coming in tonight and join us. Let's go ahead and play our song. This is a song that I own, right? This is not, we own the rights to this song. You guys take care. God bless.
You know a new way for your money to grow. Not talking about a bank or stock market rank. Here's what we're saying, foundation we're laying. This all takes money. Digital currency is changing the world. A way to even the playing field. How other people do it. So cryptocurrency, changing how the world does business. Ask MLS system how to get in on this. Send money around the world almost free. We don't need a bank's permission, you see. Tell your friends about MLS system. Here to raise our financial wisdom.
Spreading like a wildfire all over the world. Don't get left out, learn what it's all about. From just pennies to thousands of dollars, we want rule a worldwide currency. Only if you knew well, MLS system is making it happen. Open your account and get tapped in. Digital currency is an emerging technology, a way to up your financial psychology. It's money you can spend. Let it grow exponentially before you dip in.
It's called cryptocurrency. 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 Changing how the world does business. Just make sure you get in on this. Sending money around the world almost free. We don't need a bank's permission, you see. Tell your friends about MLS system. Here to raise our financial wisdom. Countries around the world are jumping in, creating ways to ride the train. Businesses lining up to accept Bitcoin. Soon every store will join MLS system to get your coins. Get in the mix, learn the tricks. Bitcoins are facing $21. Go MLS system to have some fun.
Cryptocurrency, changing how the world does business.
All right, guys. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate it. You guys take care. God bless. Have a great and safe night. You guys take care. Bye-bye.